And welcome back. We're less than an hour away from finding out who will nab the top 10 spots in ArtPrize 2011. The competition's all about letting you decide. Whoa. And so far, more than 346,000 votes have been cast. Paul Collins is a Grand Rapids painter whose work is in collections around the globe. Paul Collins joins us live in our Graham studios tonight. Paul, thanks so much for joining us.
Good to see you again.
Do you think the public can decide what is and what isn't art? You know, because some of these art critics say that the public isn't qualified to make these.
Well, let me tell you something. Think about this for a minute. When you go into a music store, you know what kind of music you like, right?
Sure. And
you don't have a degree in music. When you go to a movie, you make the decision. Now, what's the difference here? I mean, I'll tell you what it is. When you start saying you have to have a master's degree in the arts in order to explain it, what you have to have is a master in common sense. And they need to just stop it and open it up and do what they're doing out here. This ArtPrize didn't come from here. It came from outside. So what does that tell you about art? It is out here. I mean, where else? Think about this also. Where do you know where you can unify so many different kinds of people, Republicans, Democrats, black, white, yellow, in one group like you have down here? Art is one of the few powerful things that has that ability. And they don't seem to get it. They see art in one dimension. The arts are a powerful tool in attracting people and bringing people together. They can do wonderful things in neighborhoods and I'll give you an example. Carol and I were living down in Key West, Florida, and the United States government just gave them the old Custom House, beautiful building, and they turned it into a historical museum. It had been open for 5 years. They couldn't get anybody in there. Nobody. Empty. Nobody. So they saw this article about me in the paper, and so they called me to talk to the board and asked me, what do you think our problem is? I said, this is a no-brainer. Why do you think people come down to Key West? They don't come down to Key West to see what's in New York. They come down to Key West because of the history and because of Key West. I told them, I said, I'll give you an example. I did a whole collection of paintings, and it was titled, Who is Key West? The place was packed. And from that day on, they realized that that museum would reflect the history. Like, you know, this museum here, it's nice to let us know what else has been, but reflect the history of Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
Also, the other important thing is, how do artists get any recognition if they can't get it in their own hometown, in their own gallery? I mean, what sense is it that... And
this event does a good job of doing that, giving the local voice. And we don't have a ton of time, Paul, but I wanted to get your take on... I know, we could go all night, but we can't. The top 10, we're going to hear coming up here in about an hour. Who do you think is going to make the top 10? Will we get it right, I guess?
I'll tell you what I think. I think the ones that depict a story, the ones that gets inside of people, I think those are the ones that will win.
You got a favorite?
Yeah.
You want to share it?
Yeah, it's The Price of Silence. A lot of photographs of different things that's happened in this particular African country. It's just storytelling. Telling a story
spoke to you.
That goes, yeah, it gets inside of you. And the other thing I will say also, anybody who entered in this is a winner because they entered in it, they took the time, they took the effort, and plus they never lose because they got some recognition.
Paul, we're glad you took the time and the effort. We could talk all night, obviously. We don't have
all night.
Thanks for stopping by. Paul Collins. Sue?